not want this conference to happen here.
Let me ask now, over the past, since independence, and especially over the last 7 years, Eritrea has been described as becoming more isolated from the rest of the world. Why is that?
It's a perception of those who like to see Eritrea isolated. It's a problem. I mean, it's a mindset. And we have heard so many people say Eritrea is more isolated, or even getting reports, factual reports about an intention to isolate Eritrea and make Eritrea feel isolated. To the contrary, facts on the ground will tell you that we get more and more joining the region and joining friends all over the world. We've never felt, I mean, isolation has been an obsession or a perception for those who wanted Eritrea to be isolated. Unfortunately, that is
in some ways, though, there's very little foreign trade, very little import-export, economic relationships, political relationships, sometimes not just the United States, have been strained. Foreign aid groups, you know, there's not a lot of, not the same level.
It's a matter of how you see it. I mean, foreign trade, foreign direct investment, the growth of the economy, the stability of the economy. This is a very young country, and you can go and see the social services, the quality of life, the improvement has had occurred the last 10 or 15 years, and objectively compare that to other circumstances where countries have lived old enough to not even catch up with what we have achieved in a very short period of time. I don't want to go about that and talk about what we have achieved. It's evident in its own, and we don't need to publicize that. Anyone willing to see can come and see. And if you take that as a measure for our situation, that definitely tells you that we are not isolated, and we cannot be judged by what people have in their mind in terms of Eritrea. It's very unfortunate that for people who want to see Eritrea isolated have constrained their attitude to believe in what they think is a perception in their own mind, and I don't really worry about that. And it's a matter of what we have on the ground.
That you're striving for, and is there a model out there? Is there another country that you can point to and say this is where we'd like to be?
And then again, I think I have on a number of occasions talked about this. I mean, why do you need a model in the first place?
Well, it's helpful.
Why do you need a model? I mean, I am not saying we don't need models, we don't need examples, good examples, but why would one try to associate oneself with one model or another, which is very restrictive in my opinion? Number two, we need to agree on the definition of a number of concepts. You talk about free market. What is free market? Subsidizing farmers, preventing free trade amongst countries. What exactly are we talking about the free market? Yes, the market has been there for centuries, even before the so-called free market concept was developed. Markets are there, and societies can only live with markets. Without markets, there is no way where people can trade and do business with each other. That's something taken for the sake. Now, the type of economy, we believe we are part of a regional and a global economy. And we would like to strive and survive within that process by developing an economy which can sustainably grow to be part and parcel of that. How do we interact with this reality? It's not every rule in our hands set and there on the table for everyone to take. I mean, we are part of this process. We cannot think outside this process, but to be part of it, we have to be able to produce something and sell something so that we can buy something from the market. What do we produce? Do we live on food aid? Do we live on handouts and not produce anything? Where do we interact with the region and with the whole world? And that's what we've been doing. We have to be able to produce enough to feed ourselves and go beyond that to sell something in market and buy from the markets what we think we need to grow this economy. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Call this a model, call this a different approach in dealing with the economy of a country, but rather than talking about models or even trying to design or invent things that have been there all along, we believe we need to do things that enable this country to stand on its 2 feet and again do business with others within the region and outside the region.
This is a good entry into one of the most unique things about Eritrea, I think, is that it's almost unprecedented. In the last few years, and increasingly, the country has basically rejected probably hundreds of millions of dollars in potential aid and free food from WFP or development loans from the World Bank, donor assistance and things like that. Why? Why do that?
It's not rejection. It's, again, a perception. I mean, people would accuse this government or this country of not readily taking aid, or even, it's not a matter of rejecting aid or rejecting support from outside. It has to be seen in light of what I mentioned of, I mean, we would like to produce something to sell, and by selling something, we would like to buy something. How can you possibly do that if you sustainably depend on food aid? And sometimes people would say, take this food, even when they know you can produce it. I mean, even if I don't have that, isn't it wise, isn't it a good aspiration for people to think that they need to produce what they are eating, or what they are given as handouts, or what's wrong with that? But again, it goes back to the same philosophy. I mean, I will have to produce something, and the level of production will have to increase every time I move forward towards a better living condition for the people of this country, and it can be done. Eritrea is not a country with endowments of resources that are available without even working hard. We believe to be part of the region and outside the region and trade with others and do business with others, we need to do our job, and that's hard work and production that will enable us to depend on our own toil in the first place, but that is not all. People may talk about self-reliance. Self-reliance in its narrowest sense would mean isolating oneself, and that's not the attitude we have. We would like to be part of the growing regional economy and global economy. You can only do that by working harder and sacrificing, and that's what we've been doing the last 15 years, and I don't see anything wrong with that, and there is no need to talk about food aid agencies working here or there. It's not a matter of rejection for us. We don't start by the attitude of rejection. We constructively engage ourselves in something that is productive, and that will change our lot for the long term. Why would people worry about that and call it a rejection? It's, I think, a mindset which is not healthy.
If you look at Africa, what impact has donor aid and food aid had on countries from your perspective?
I say these are crippled societies. It will take them a long, long time to stand on their 2 feet. It's a reality. It's not something emotionally said, but that's what we see happening. Rather than develop their economies, even when the resources are available there, And it's not even helping those who are crippling them. I mean, I say to many of the developed, those who could help and support, I mean, if this country can be a good market for you, it's good for you and good for me. If this region could be a market, if people in this region could purchase TV sets, cars, eat good food, and have good clothing, clean water, and you sell your products to this region, you benefit and this country benefit. But for this region to benefit, the ability to buy of every individual in this region will have to be raised to a level. You can't keep these people living on handouts, because that doesn't change the